So we are broadcasting live to London today, trying to reach students out in the UK who might be considering this career path of chiropractic and are just looking to gain some insights from a professional chiropractor who's doing his thing out there and been in practice for, I believe, many years now. So,
Yeah.
Dean, thank you so much for taking the time.
Pleasure, my friend. Pleasure.
And joining us. So can we just get started by you sharing a little bit about what your background was before you went to chiropractic school and what it was that attracted you to becoming a chiropractor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ben, thank you so much for having me on. It's a real pleasure to come on and spend some time kind of chewing over what got me into chiropractic and the other stuff. So no, thank you very much for your time. Chiropractic for me, I've said this many times before, it very much, I feel like it found me. I had never, ever heard of chiropractic up until a chance conversation with a tutor that I had when I was at college. So I was a personal trainer. I had a long history in kind of fitness and personal training and sports therapy, etc. But when I was at college, just finishing my diploma at the time, I just felt like my education wasn't done. I felt like I still had some more learning in me. So I spoke to my anatomy and physiology teacher and said, well, listen, what would you recommend after this? I've got a good friend who's an osteopath, and I'm thinking about maybe going off to the osteopathy. What do you think? And she said, well, I'm a chiropractor. And like I said, I'd never heard of it up until that point. So I went down to the library, Ben, and I did some research, I did some reading, and I just thought, you know what, there is something about this that just makes sense. It just resonated with me. And then the rest was history, man. I just went off and did my degree, and here I am 16, almost 17 years later, doing my chiropractic thing. But I met people on my course when I was doing my degree who had a long history of chiropractic in the family, or people that had been to a chiropractor, or they'd seen someone in their family have like a chiropractic experience or a miracle, and they got into it that way. For me, like some of my friends that I was speaking to, it's like, you know what, I stumbled across it, but there was something about it that just made sense. And for me, it was that was the buy-in.
How present is chiropractic in the UK in regards to a career path? Are people even aware of it? Like, it sounds like you were really close to not have ever even hearing about it.
Absolutely.
So is there any awareness amongst high school and college students in the sciences that chiropractic could be a good career path for them? And like, what is the messaging like? I know osteopathy is big out there. I'm sure physiotherapy is big. How could you help a prospective high school or college student looking to get into healthcare or just looking to make a difference in other people's lives? How can you really not sell them on chiropractic, but how can you introduce them to this profession and really help them see how it's different?
Absolutely. I think in this day and age in particular, we all now have the ability to reach out to our local communities using a whole raft of different platforms to just get chiropractic out there. So I know when I graduated, there were at the time about 1,600 chiropractors in the whole of the British Isles. So we've got like 65, 70 million people in England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, etc. There's about now 2,000 chiropractors, I believe now. So you look at the population as a whole, and then you look at the amount of chiropractors that are there to actually serve the community, and it's tiny. So it is a very, very difficult job. And I think a lot of us get into the habit almost of, well, I'm a chiropractor now, I'm going to do my thing. You get your head down, you're in practice, you're working hard, and you just forget to just take a step back and think, like, I didn't think about ever going back to school and telling students, this is what I do for a living as a chiropractor, because I was too busy, right? I'm living, I'm in practice. I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids, I've got this and that. So I never took the step back. I think now we've got, like I say, lots of different mediums that we can utilize as chiropractors to put our message out. And I think that will make a big, big difference, because people will go to what they are exposed to the most. And in this country, we have a fantastic NHS system, and that's very, very closely lined to things like physiotherapy. So of course, people will think, well, if I'm not going to go to my doctor, maybe I'll go and see a physio. And then, of course, I think by proxy, it's almost now, well, who else is there apart from a physio? Maybe an osteopath or a chiropractor. But traditionally, I think in this country, chiropractic has been very unilateral, maybe in its perception. So people thought, well, if I don't have a bad neck or back, why the hell would I go to a chiropractor, right? If I've got a musculoskeletal injury or something else, I'll go and see someone else. So the rhetoric is changing, but we have a duty, I think, now to kind of get that across to the public in terms of there is so much more that chiropractic can provide other than what you might think it might be.
Definitely. A
Mm.
lot of the times people don't want to travel very far to go to a new college. Are there options for people to study chiropractic in the UK? And if so, what's your perspectives on those schools? Are they delivering a decent education? Is it something people should consider? Or are they going to need to move to a different country to study?
I really like the fact that in this country we've got probably 5, I think now, establishments that you can go and study chiropractic at.
Mhm.
So we've got one of the oldest, and I think probably the oldest and the largest chiropractic university in Europe, literally about an hour and a half drive from where I am, just outside of London. So, you know, the history of chiropractic in this country and in Europe is fantastic. It's the exposure, Ben. It boils down to the same thing. Do people know that they're there? Probably not. So then it's never going to be an option. So yes, I guess the profession, you know, the regulatory bodies have a duty to make sure that they're well represented in prospectuses and events, etc., etc. But I think as clinicians, we have an obligation to obviously get that message out as well. And then it just boils down to the individual. You know, I also know some fantastic chiropractors that have, you know, come through lots of different universities, and it just boils down to the individual in question. And I think chiropractic, with its philosophy, with its history, with how we kind of approach well-being, etc., that I think will attract a certain type of person to it, and that can only be of benefit to the profession. So hopefully, if that continues over the next 5 to 10, 15 years, then chiropractic will be in a healthy position.
Definitely. And
Mm.
can you just speak to that high school or college student that has discovered this channel by chance, and like the different paths that are available within this profession, and also speak to the ones that you've been attracted to and the ones that
Mm.
you've taken?
Do you know the great thing about chiropractic is that it can be, should we say, the single tool that you use. So I know lots of chiropractors that just do chiropractic, and that's cool. For me, my background, like I said, was all in sports and sports injury. So the people that I've attracted over the years tend to fall in line with people that are active, people that play sports. We've had some, you know, professional athletes and Olympians that have come to us at the clinic. So we've had the fortunate position of being able to treat lots of people from all walks of life. But I guess, you know, at my core, because I was very kind of sports centric, you tend to subconsciously probably start attracting those people into your sphere. And I think the great thing about chiropractic, at its very essence, because you're working with the body to allow the body to do what it's designed to do. Hey man, it doesn't matter whether you're treating somebody that's, you know, geriatrics, or you want to go into pediatrics, or you want to go into animal chiropractic, or you want to go into sports, or you want to just treat general pop. I think you've got the ability to use chiropractic to go in whatever direction you want to. So this is, for me, what makes it such a great profession, because it can be as much or as little as you choose it to be. So if you're a new grad, I think you can align it with your passions and your values. And if that means that you delve into specific niches, then that's great. You can do that with chiropractic. But if not, you know, just serving the general population, serving your community, it's a fantastic opportunity to make a difference. So
So let's just say that this whole pre-Chiro movement that we're sparking over here
yeah.
leads to a new awareness that exists in college and high school students, and people that are transitioning careers, looking for a path of purpose, looking to be their own boss, like it says on your mug there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What is really possible? Are we going to have to open new schools? You just said that when it first started, or when you first started more than 10 years ago, there was only 1,600, and today there's only 2,000. So to have 5 schools and pretty much maintain the same amount of chiropractors, like you said, it's a very exclusive
Mm-hmm.
experience to witness chiropractic, and then
Yes.
also have the inspiration that that's the right path for you. What could pre-Chiro really do to level up the standards over there, and really bring in a new generation of chiropractors for England, or for the British Isles? And how would that change? I know there's a new school coming out in Scotland in the next year or two.
Yeah.
How is that going to change the sort of landscape that students have, and why would they choose chiropractic over these other paths? I know everybody has a unique set of interests and beliefs
Yeah.
and values, and they need to be in alignment with chiropractic. But if there's more exposures, why are they going to choose chiropractic over, say, a physiotherapy degree, or over an osteopathy degree?
That is such a good question, and I think it boils down to the fact that we don't want to come across as being too vanilla. Do you know what I mean? So
Yep.
I think if you try and appeal to the masses, then it's very hard to kind of to attract the people that are going to be that they're going to find chiropractic useful, that are going to
Mhm.
be able to kind of grasp chiropractic with both hands and run with it, and also people that are going to help to serve the profession and help it grow in the future as well. So I think when I see movements like this with pre-chiro, what I really love about it is that it gets people thinking, it gets you asking questions, it gets you to draw down a little bit more into the specifics of, well, what is it about chiropractic? You know, is it the
Mhm.
philosophy? Is it the art? Is it the science? Why would I do this over maybe an osteopathy degree or a physiotherapist degree, etc.? So I think as long as we can continue to provide access for people to go off and study chiropractic, I think that's the first port of call. Universities in this country have changed dramatically over the past decade. So, you know, people might be missing out because they don't have the opportunity to. So, you know, through things like grants and scholarships, those are things which hopefully will help to promote chiropractic in places that it might not necessarily get to, because there are going to be fantastic chiropractors that we're leaving on the table because we're just not reaching out to them,
Mhm.
or it's not accessible. So that's maybe the first thing. And then I think, alluding to the latter part of your question, I don't know. I think as long as chiropractic, like I say, can, and you have to sell yourself a little bit, you know, as an industry, we've got to put that business hat on and say, how do we get ourselves out there? How do we market ourselves in a way that's attractive to people? Because if it's not attractive, let's be honest, they will choose something else. That's just the way, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
So it sucks to a degree that it's like, oh, you know, chiropractic should sell itself. Absolutely. Exercise should sell itself, but they still advertise gyms, right? Holidays should sell themselves, but they still promote holidays and five-star luxury this and blah blah blah. It's like everybody has to play the game of, how do I market myself and market what we're offering in a package that gets
Yeah.
people to buy in, right? And I think if we can do that, then yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Sweet. So a lot of the times the medical professions will create an entrance examination that a student can look at and say, hey, I need to prepare for that. That's the
Yeah.
standard. That's my objective, right? As managers, a lot of times we manage others by objectives.
Yeah.
So when I'm a prospective student, I'm looking at the chiropractic profession. I see it's a very small profession in relation to these others that it's sort of related to, or it's maybe not related to, but it's
Mm-hmm.
on the same level of.
Yeah.
What can we do to really bring up the understanding that there's a lot of opportunities, there is a lot of infrastructure that's been created that maybe students are not aware of? Maybe they think it's this tiny little profession, that there's very little opportunity to go beyond their graduate degree, or is it even a graduate degree? What can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the mechanics of what it looks like to become a chiropractor out in that part of the world? Is it a
Absolutely.
bachelor's? Is it a graduate degree?
Mm-hmm.
Are there postgraduate programs like specializations? What does it look like?
So pre-entry, obviously, we'll have our requirements. Put my teeth back in, to go off and obviously do your degree. Once you graduate, you'll obviously then get your Bachelor of Sciences. After that, there's plenty of post-grad opportunities. So people can do masters. You can draw down into maybe geriatric or pediatric care. You can go off and be a bit more sports specific. So the opportunities are there. I think, like I said earlier, that the thing that we've got to kind of look at, particularly when it comes to schooling and for new grads that might be looking at chiropractic, is how do we put it in front of them so that they can see it? How do we make sure that as clinicians, those people that are already now out in the profession, how do we let people know that we are here? Now, of course, we've got social media, we've got the internet, we've got plenty of opportunities to showcase our skills clinically. And if you don't want to do that, then you can just showcase the benefits of chiropractic. And that through, I think, just regularity and familiarity for people, it just starts to get them thinking about, damn, you know, I'm seeing a lot of these chiropractors getting some cool results. Maybe that's an avenue that I can go down into. The numbers in certainly in the UK is an interesting one, because it can work one of two ways. Either people think, well, there's not that many of them, so I guess competition is pretty good, right? So I should be laughing. Or again, you think, well, there's not that many of them for a reason, right? Maybe I'll go off and I'll be a physio because I can't turn for physios, you know, there's loads of them.
Yeah.
So I think, like I say, from an educational perspective, you get your degree, you get your bachelor's, and then once you've graduated, it really is yours to do to do what you want to do with it. Chiropractic, like I say, is a fantastic tool to enable you to go down whatever path you want. And I think that once you've got your bit of paper and then you can get out there and you can start serving your community, then you might then figure out obviously how you want to go with your chiropractic journey. But also, like I say, for me, 16 years in now, I'm thinking, hold on a minute, I have been doing this a long time. How can I give back to my community in a way that encourages people to maybe pursue this as a profession rather than just pursuing it as I go and see a chiropractor? And I think that's the danger that we might be facing, is that people associate, oh, I go and see a chiropractor, not I want to become a chiropractor. And if we can start to break that mold, then yeah, it will be fine. We'll be all right.
Yeah, well, we're going to be all right because this is a movement. I mean, I think that we need to equip chiropractors in that part of the world with information that is really clear and simple and specific of what does the path look like? Where can you study? What are the locations? Do you know off the top of your head the 5 locations that you mentioned that you can study chiropractic?
Yeah. So we've got the AECC down in Bournemouth. Like I say, that's the largest in this country, and I think it's the oldest and largest in Europe. Then we've got one in Wales. We've got one in Abingdon, just outside of Oxford. And then we've got London and Teesside, I believe. So they're the 5 that I know of. Like I say, whether you've got, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, the numbers, for me personally, they're borderline irrelevant. I think the thing, like I said earlier, is the exposure. Do people know it's there? I could have, like you say, quite easily have gone into a different profession, which is absolutely fine. I'm glad that I've got into chiropractic, but if it weren't for a chance conversation that I had in the chiropractor saying, have you thought about chiropractic? That I wouldn't have thought about it. So there are, like I say, we're leaving chiropractors on the table as a profession because we're not having those conversations. We're having a conversation about chiropractic because it can help you, live an optimal life, and it can be this, and it can provide you with this, and blah, 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 and all the benefits and the things that go with chiropractic. That is awesome. Don't get me wrong. That's an absolute given. But I think we need to start having the conversation about, have you thought about becoming a chiropractor? Because if you don't have that thought, unless you fall into it or you have an experience with chiropractic, it's very, very unlikely that.
I mean, that's what we're doing right here, right now. If you were
right?
speaking, not to me, a practicing chiropractor in America, but you were speaking to a student in England who's like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, chiropractic, what is that? How can I learn about it? What's the 1-minute pitch that you would give to somebody, like, why become a chiropractor, or have you thought of becoming a chiropractor, and like, who are the types of people that should go in that direction, and who are the types of people that should probably stay away?
Ooh, who are the people that should stay away? That's a good one. I think the people that we want to be attracting into it are the people that want to help people, right? And I say that broadly because I was a personal trainer because I wanted to help people get fit, exercise, and have a good life, right? And look good in the mirror, whatever it might have been for them. So I had an innate kind of, should we say, view of what I wanted to do for the person I was working with. Now, don't get me wrong, chiropractic can be a fantastic business opportunity as well. So there are always going to be people that will look at the numbers and think, actually, this is quite a good profession I can get into because I can earn some wedge. And it's provided me and my family with a great lifestyle. There's no question about that. But that wasn't my primary thing. The thing overarching it for me is, who can I help? Who do I want to help? And how can I allow them to do, really, like I say, the things that they want to do, whether that be gardening or travel or playing with their grandkids or getting a good night's rest or whatever it might be. So the people that we want to attract, for me, that will benefit the profession are the people that are going to help to better and enhance their community. And I think as long as that's in the forefront of their mind, then whatever else goes along with it is going to be absolutely fine. But, if I was giving it like a 1-minute pitch to someone, it's like, oh, why should I do chiropractic? Listen, if you're interested in the well-being and the health of others, of the human race, as it were, right? Then chiropractic's the thing for you because you've got an opportunity to make a difference. That's it. If you're not interested in it, go and do something else. Right?
You seem to be very results driven though, right? Aren't you results driven? Would you say to a prospective student, hey, if results matter to you, I believe that chiropractic can yield you some results that you would be surprised by?
Yeah. Results in what sense would you say, Ben?
Well, just the people that you're looking to help, the
Yeah,
people that are looking to be able to pick up their grandkids or go for walks and not be in pain, or
yeah.
that are looking to function and perform better in a football pitch, to use the language out there. Like
Well
I've
done.
taken care of tons of athletes throughout the years, professional, semi-professional, and then just recreational.
Hmm.
And I also have taken care of kids, and I've taken care of people from all walks of life. So
Nice.
the results is something that I think people would really appreciate. Can you speak
Yeah.
to like the types of results that you're getting with the people you're working with out in the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the interesting thing because, people will often or have often in the past asked me, like, what kind of business are you in? Like, if I'm just out and about and be, oh, what do you do for a living? It's like, oh, I'm a chiropractor. It's like, oh, okay, what business is that? And I often will say I'm in the results business because people come to me with a problem. I have a solution, which is chiropractic, and then the result is them, playing around a golf or playing sports or playing with grandkids or travel or whatever it might be. So, the results can be profound. Like there are some things that I've experienced certainly over the years where people come in and they say the only variable between me not getting what I was getting before and now getting whatever it is for that person is now coming to see you as a chiropractor. And I'm like, really? Like, okay, this is interesting. So we have all clinically had those chiropractic miracles where people come and say, yeah, doc, you're never going to guess what. Tell me what's going on. Listen, since I've been seeing you, I'm no longer doing blah 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 blah. And you think, what? Or I can now do da 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 da. And you think, geez, okay, there is a lot more to this chiropractic than just adjusting the spine and just working with the nervous system. It's about tapping into, like I say, that innate intelligence the body has and just allowing it to do its job. And if
Mhm.
people could get that opportunity, then yeah, like you say, the results speak for themselves. And it can be something simple, like, do you know what? I just wake up in the morning and I feel good. I don't feel like I need to reach for the medicine cabinet. If
Mhm.
you start your day like that, damn, can you imagine the day you're going to have? Can you imagine the impacts on your family? Or do you know what? I feel like I can now swing a golf club. Well, that has a massive influence on the relationships you have around you. You can get social, you can interact with other people. It's about experiencing life. And I think, like I say, for me, the results that I get in practice, they just time with people's lives. And for me, that's wicked. That's really cool.
Mhm. What last couple questions? What are some of your
Yeah,
outcome measures that you have for people? You just spoke a lot about the effects of getting chiropractic care can be so diverse and so vast and so nonlinear, right? It's not about you getting your golf swing back. It's about the social experience of what it's like to be back in community when you were
yeah,
out of community.
yeah.
Can you speak specifically in your clinic, like what are some outcome measures that you're personally looking at? Maybe it's not even important to the person you're taking care of, but how are you working with people?
Yeah, it's really interesting you say about what's not important to the individual because I think clinically we like to look sometimes at the objective stuff, and you know, Mrs. Jones isn't interested if hip flexion's gone from 70 to 90. She couldn't give a rat's. For her it's like all I know is that I feel better and I can do this in the garden. Do you know what? And it's like, yeah, but can you see blah blah blah? It's like that's all well and good, Dean, but listen, that's that for some people they love it. For other people, it's just a turn off. So we do use a screening method, and I think that's quite enlightening because quite often people are clouded by the discomfort and the pain that they're in when they come in, and they don't always know how they're moving and how they feel. So we'll use screening tools to obviously measure that, and then obviously when they've been through part of their course of care, and then we start to obviously rehabilitate them, and then we check again. It's like, do you remember what it was like to start with? No. Do you remember you couldn't do this? I could no. People just don't remember because you're just in it. So when you get them to take a step back and you can say, well, this is what you were like, and now we can see with the screening, this is what it's like now. Can
Mhm.
you see how this is impacting on how you move and how you think and how you feel? And then people get it. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, we use, like I say, various screening tools, but we're not too analytical because we've certainly found, like in this country, like you say, it's results based. People want to, and this day and age, people they want to get results quickly, and they want to get results that matter to them. Objective findings are useful for us clinically so we can track what kind of things we're working with. But for a lot of people, it's like, I'm not too interested how much I can turn my neck compared to before in terms of degrees and angles. It's good that we measure it.
Mhm.
But for, like I say, Mrs. Jones, as long as she can turn to reverse her car, hey, it could be 60 degrees, could be 600. So it doesn't really matter too much. So
Yeah,
it's good to have them there should you need them, because it's a fantastic educational tool, but we don't rely too heavily on it because we want to make sure that people are doing the things that they want to do and that they are using chiropractic to enhance their lifestyle.
absolutely. Most of us that are in practice are not really actively doing research, but some of us come up with creative ideas, so to speak, about maybe interesting research study or a new way of thinking about doing something that people are currently doing that will help them adapt better to their environment or help them just have a greater quality of life. Is there anything that you could share that this is a very nonlinear type of conversation at this point, but I think that it helps people see the mind of a chiropractor and how you think about things. What are
Yeah.
some things that you've noticed in society, in your clinic, in the world today that's happening, and maybe a creative solution that you've seen that you attribute to maybe your training and the way that you think as a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm. Research for me has always been something I've been mindful of, but it's never really floated my boat. So, I will read research to just make sure that I'm up to date and current with what's going on. But I've never been somebody that's been able to kind of think, oh, do you know what? I'd love to be in a lab doing research and looking at this, that, and the other. I think what's interesting is that, I'll speak to people and quite often I'll say, listen, at the end of the day, we are all human beings. And I don't care what you get, whether you see a chiropractor, osteopath, physio, GP, have surgery, have injections, whatever it is, like we're all human beings. So at the end of the day, we have to live in this world, and we are sometimes going to be affected by environmental factors and social factors. We're obviously living in the middle of quite a big one at the minute. So it's like, well, how can chiropractic play a role in allowing us as human beings to live better in the environment that we're in? Because at the end of the day, I see people and it's like, okay, yes, you've come to me with hip and low back pain, but this, I can help you to a degree. I can adjust you every single day until the cows come home, but you need to go and get your hip operated. You need to get a new hip. At the end of the day, that's what it needs. Then we can work on obviously how you recover and how you get well after that and how you live optimally. So as a human being, like I say, there are going to be some things that we come across that chiropractic can help with, but there's a lot that also that I think chiropractic could be an adjunct to that we wouldn't necessarily think about. So there are some people that need medication, but I know firsthand people that I've been looking after, when they're getting adjusted, become less dependent or the levels change for the better. So it's like, well, hold on a minute, rather than just taking 10 tons worth of stuff, if you still need to take something, could you be taking it at a level that's going to be better for you? And could chiropractic be a tool that we use to help your body to adapt much more efficiently to whatever is being done to it, whether that be surgery or medicine or whatever? That's for me, if I had the time, energy, inclination, money, I'd be looking into, because I think that's another buy-in. Because for a lot of people, we know this planet is, for the most part, not that healthy. So there's quite a few people that have the ship has already sailed there. They have gone down the path that chiropractic can help with, but they're already taking things, or they're doing things, or they have had things done. People are much more proactive. I think the next generation coming through with their health, they're much more likely to seek out care and advice before stuff gets broken. But we do still know a large proportion of the population, just as human beings, wait till stuff's broken and busted, and then they go and see someone.
Yeah.
So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And I think that, if we can say, well, listen, if you want to be proactive with your health, listen, chiropractic is wicked for you. If you are now in a reactive phase, even if you've got X, Y, or Z going on, chiropractic can still be of benefit to you. But I think, like I say, there are still some people where it's like, maybe I should just stick with this medical system, because I don't know if I should see the chiropractor or the osteopath or the physio. I don't know if that's in their remit. So, yeah, some research to back that up would be useful. But like I say, anecdotally, I certainly know that is something which we can have a positive influence on.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. All right, final message. Appreciate all your time and energy this morning.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Yeah, and just kind of like a final message for that prospective pre-chiro student, maybe somebody who's already like knows they want to become a chiropractor but hasn't yet arrived in school yet. what are some recommendations that you would give for them to really prepare themselves, to prime the pump, so to speak, to really, you know, get ready?
Go into your university training with an open mind. And I think once you go into it with an open mind, you'll hear different views, some of which you'll agree with, some of which you won't. But you're going into it with those blinkers removed. You're going into it with those kind of preconceptions that you may have removed. And I think that once you get all the information, then you can mold that the way that you want it to be molded, and you can express yourself through chiropractic based on the fact that actually, I've taken it all in, I've processed it, and now this is what I think it is for me. So that's probably the biggest thing. I think, yes, there are, there's books you can read, and there's courses that you could go on, and there's things that you can watch. But, at the end of the day, I just think if you go into it with an open mind of, okay, I know that I want to help people. I want to serve my community. I want to make this world a better place in some way, shape or form. And then go and learn, and then just see how chiropractic can do that. Then you'll start to pick and choose the bits that resonate with you. And I think that's the best advice I could probably give anybody that's thinking about embarking on a chiropractic journey or going off to university and studying it, is go into it with an open mind, because it's a fantastic profession. Like many, many other professions out there, you can make a real impact and a difference in people's lives. But I think if you're carrying your preconceptions and your views and your values into it, and you're not willing to bend on any of them, then it's going to be tough. You'll either just give up and go off and do something different, or you'll come out and it'll be like, chiropractic is not for me. I'm not enjoying this anymore. So I think if you go into it with an open mind, an open heart, you're willing to learn, you're willing to, challenge maybe some of the views and perceptions that you have, then yeah, chiropractic is, like I said, it's a wicked profession. So that's
doubt.
what I'm going to end on.
That's cool. Well, listen, have a great day. How can people connect with you online, where they can start to see how you're making an impact in your community and the type of information that you're sharing with the world?
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you. Best way is probably on Instagram. You can find me, the Dapper Chiro, so DAPPER Chiro, and then you can find me on Facebook. So Instagram and Facebook are the two kind of platforms I tend to use most of all. But like I say, to all the kind of people that reach out to me, obviously those that have reached out can reach out. Those that want to reach out, listen, my door's open. Just ping me a message, send me an email. I'll be happy to kind of field any questions, because like I say, sometimes you're never quite sure what this profession might hold, and rather than jumping with both feet and then find out the hard way, sometimes you might want to dip your toe in the water, or speak to somebody that's in it and say, what's it like? And I can say, well, this is what it's like. And you go, oh, that sounds freaking awesome, I'll do that. Or actually, do you know what? It's not what I thought it would be like. I'm going to go off and do something different. So yeah, for anyone that wants to reach out, I'm happy to field any questions. But Instagram and Facebook, they're the best ways of reaching out to me.
I appreciate you, brother. Have a great day. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You stay safe and well, won't you?
Most definitely. I will. Pre-Chiro movement is coming to London real soon.
Yeah, you have to hook me up when you come over, man.
No doubt. I'll see you soon. Peace.
All right, brother. Take